You look over at the dairy contingent. These are a bunch of sailors and other people. You see that there are two figures a little way away from each other. There is a young, finely dressed Duchess. Her name, you would know her as Primsy Coldbottle. She is a young girl, about 2 years younger than your daughters, who's got a giant milk bottle head with eyes and a mouth on it, and literally the word milk around the side, like part of her flesh is the word milk written into the side of her head.
She's a princess, right?
She is actually the Duchess.
Duchess.
She's the Duchess of Lacrimore. And you see that Annabelle, you go over to Annabelle or Primsy?
I'm Primsy, and I'm assuming Primsy, who is with who?
Sir Maurice Bree is with Primsy, and as you approach, he says,
Great, perfect.
he goes, my lady, presenting His Majesty King Amathar of the House of Rocks. And you see that Primsy looks up and she says, oh, I'm very charmed, to be sure, Your Majesty, and does a very deep curtsy.
Oh, a pleasure to meet you, my lady.
It is a pleasure. I understand that you fought a long before I was born in the Dairy Isles.
You have a beautiful homeland.
To hear a king say those words, it means a great deal.
You are too kind and very well spoken for someone of your age.
Oh, thank you very much. I try to be as polite and proper as I can, and I know that it's a privilege and an honor to be here to represent my people.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I was wondering if I might have a moment with Sir Bree.
Of course, Sir Bree, I give you leave to speak with His Majesty the King of Candia. Sir Bree nods and steps away. She curtsies again, and you look at Primsy. She looks over. There is a young dairy nobleman who's wearing all blue, and you see that he looks like a little fancy cheese boy. Mm-hmm. And he smiles at her. Inside, but you had a low perception. Yeah. So you see that she smiles at him, and he, very saucily, he's like about 16 or 17 himself, winks at her, and she kind of blushes.
Huh.
You walk over to Primsy Coldbottle. She says, hello there. You see that Sir Maurice introduces you and Liam. She says, you're Liam Wilhelmina of the House of Jawbreaker.
Mm-hmm, that's me. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I put my hand up to her mouth as though she was kissing my hand.
She doesn't miss a beat. She kisses it very quickly, even though she clearly knows that that's not what's supposed to happen.
It's good to meet you.
Right, well, it's a pleasure to meet you as well, Liam.
Duchess, may I ask who your friend is here?
She says, well, this is just my traveling companion, the Lord Stilton Curdo. And you see that young Stilton looks over at you. Make another perception check.
Sweet. Please. Can Sprinkle help me?
Yeah.
Sweet. Help me, Sprinkle. Yes. 21. Thank you, Sprinkle.
You see he looks up at you and he says, hello, it is a pleasure to meet you. And you get it's been covered with a lot of rich fructarian colognes. It's a familiar stink here.
How old are you?
Right? Oh, me?
No, sorry, talking to
I am 17 years old.
Oh, cool. Me too.
All right.
Lady Coldbottle, have you ever seen a tournament?
No, I'm afraid not. I've never seen anything this grand. Lacrimore, we'll have a joust, but because the castle is built in on the island, the jousting lane is not that long. So the ponies, they sort of, they don't get to charge that long.
It's our first tourney too.
Really? Mm-hmm. She says, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. I'm the Duchess Coldbottle. Your Highnesses, it's a pleasure and an honor. She bows. You see that she looks at you and says, I brought these. And you see she reaches in and takes out beautiful little embroideries made out of milk silk, which is like a liquid fabric that kind of moves. And you see that it has a little candy cane crossed with a like piece of cheese on a toothpick.
Oh, my heart.
And it's just like a little embroidery made out of this like cool alchemical liquid fabric.
Beautiful.
This is amazing.
There's one for me, right?
Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm dreadfully sorry.
Oh,
No, that's terrible.
please,
I'll
no
make-
way. I've just been included on so much. I thought maybe I just had a winning streak in me or something.
You see that yours have your house words on them that say, in sweetness there is strength. And you see she says, here, this is my own personal for you. I'll give you my favor if you agree to, you see she sees your crossbow, join the archery competition tomorrow. Will you fight for me?
Okay, yeah, definitely.
She reaches in, takes out a little milk silk handkerchief, and you see it has a little wedge of cheddar cheese on it, and the house words of House Cheddar, keep sharp.
Wow.
I clap
This
Liam
is
on the
so
back
cool.
hard.
Do an Arcana check on it.
Great. Oh, I got a 22.
It's alchemical, but not magical.
Okay.
It looks like a sweet little embroidery that this, like the vibe you get from Primsy is one of like
Sheltered.
sheltered, and she wanted to make an embroidery for the two cool girls that she would know that were like near her age.
Can
I-
I take a piece of wood and use my rapier to slash the Dairy Islands rule into it and give it back to her?
Yeah, and I'll use my lantern to burn it a little bit.
Yeah.
You give it to her, and she says,
I say it's for when you eat al fresco. It's sort of a placemat.
you see, she looks at it and says, like, this is so charming. I really appreciate it. She takes it.
It's from both of us.
Yeah.
It's for me too.
I'm gonna ask you both.
It's Liam.
I'm gonna ask you guys to all make charisma checks with disadvantage. If you
Oh
Hell yeah.
no. Oh, 9.
I got a 16.
16 as well.
with disadvantage.
Yeah, I got a
Disadvantage. I rolled
12
a
and a
19 and an
13.
18.
I got a 9.
So she looks genuinely
I'm drunk
touched.
enough to be charismatic.
Yeah, she actually looks like she knows that you didn't have anything to do with it, but she looks at you two, and she is. You could see that what could have been an insult in terms of how hastily it was made. Instead, she's like, perhaps this is what's cool.
I hatched like 2 seed flowers in my hands, and I'm like, these as well.
Cool. You get a couple looks for doing a little bit of magic, but it's just seed flower divine stuff, so it's all groovy. Primsy Coldbottle comes over. You see, she is like shaken. You know, is it always Violet here in these great tournaments?
I don't know.
You see, she says, "You did very well, Liam. I saw you.
Thank
got
you.
right there on the corner of the bullseye."
Yep, so close.
You see that she smiles and says, "You're a great champion. I appreciate it."
Thanks.
You see, Sprinkle goes, and you see that there are little like white and yellow and blue banners, and like or white and orange and blue banners, and there's some little confetti there going up, and you see Stilton and Primsy being wed on the deck of the ship, and it's a captain's wedding by Annabelle.
I could crash away.
We should sneak.
You hear joyous cheering. Yeah, I now pronounce you man and wife. Cheer. You hear the noise of steps coming down the gangplank. Mon Dieu, in Lacra. And you hear Stilton Curdeau speak to Primsy Coldbottle and say, "My wife, my darling, I shall be behind you, holding you in the center of my heart." You see, she says, "Right, you are. I know you have to stay as captain of your boat, but I shall see you back in Lacrimore. I'm so glad the Pontifex saw fit to allow us to be together." You hear a little gentle kiss on the lady, on the Duchess Primsy's hand, and Stilton walks away with. You hear him walking away with with his House Blue soldiers. Primsy goes back up the gangplank. You see Annabelle is just stunned and says, "What does this mean?" She says, "I don't know. There is no one atop the Concordant throne. The Concord hangs in the balance in open war with Candia." Annabelle says, "What do we do?" And you see that she turns to look at Primsy. Primsy looks at Annabelle and goes, right, As Duchess of Lacrimore, we should, our allies in Candy, if we were to, the Concord prevents, and you see that she just starts shaking. Annabelle goes over, puts a hand on her.
I cast message on Primsy.
Cool.
And I say, Primsy, I invoke the friendship of House Candia and House Lacra. House Rocks and House Lacra.
You go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
Okay. Uh, 20, not net.
You hear a voice say, Are these the fair folk? The milky spirits who dance on the waves? My nan had always said that you were real, but then the priest said you weren't. I always knew the fairies were real.
Primsy, come to the hold and I'll show you a secret.
All right. Oh, I should tell you, I'm betrothed now. So if you're
It's not
looking,
a sexual secret.
okay.
That's what I thought at first too. I was just
What?
like, excuse me.
She says, I meant more that you might have given me a unicorn, and I was like, because those only go if you're not wed,
Primsy,
right?
the hold.
I can see about the if you're going to give me a unicorn, okay. you see, she says, can I bring my cousin Annabelle? Or all right, this is scary. All right. Oh, this is scary. Can I bring a lantern?
Yes, you may bring it up.
Oh, I'm gonna go below decks. Oh, this is scary. This is very exciting. You see,
Oh, she's dumb. I didn't track her as dumb before.
Yes.
She's not dumb. She's just young.
young,
And
but
fanciful.
16.
We're the same age.
you guys. So you see that you feel a little light coming through the cracks of the crate, and you hear Primsy's voice out loud saying, "Spirit, I am the Duchess Primsy Coldbottle of the House of Cheddar, Duchess of Lacrimore and the Dairy Islands.
Can we break out of the crate waving the things, the milk, silk?
I send
Flags that
I
she
send a
gave us.
message first, and I say, "Don't scream, no matter what you see."
Oh my god, that's so threatening.
I'm gonna need a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Because that is the scariest sentence any of us have ever heard. Don't scream no matter what you see. That's like a movie trailer for a horror movie.
3.
Can I,
Fuck attack.
Cool. What does Amathar do?
as soon as possible, I open the door.
Cool. So she hears in her head, "Don't scream no matter what you see," and a crate bursts open, and she goes,
I shoved the milk silk in her mouth.
"I'm being killed!"
You're not being killed. You're not being killed. It's us.
killed.
It's us. We're
It was
friends.
a bad
Okay.
move.
Le Pen died, and so did my best friend, Preston.
Primsy walks over and puts her arms around you and takes you into a deep hug. There. I am so sorry for the loss of your Chancellor and of your noble steed. You see, Primsy speaks up and says, "And I am married to the love of my life because of you. If you'd not given Annabelle that boon, then I could not be wed to my sweetheart."
I think Annabelle would have won it either way.
And you see that Duchess Primsy comes down and says, I was wondering if I could invite you to a small after-dinner tea in the captain's quarters. I sleep in the captain's quarters in a bunk bed with my cousin. So, but you know, because I'm not really the captain. The ship is mine, but it's not. It's mine.
We would love to.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I love your ship.
The Colby, she's great. It's nice, it's funny because she's mine in the harbour, but then when we're at sea, it's Annabelle's. So it's sort of like we share, which is nice.
That's nice. That's yeah, we get it.
The Duchess takes you into her quarters where there's a lovely little milk tea. It's a little sweet sort of honey taste in there as well. And she looks and says, I wanted to say thank you, and I don't know what it is we're going to do. And, Annabelle has forsworn a lot of this sort of politics stuff. And, but there are smart people, and I think if we get back to Lacrimore, we can find a way for some of this to work. I am not going to say anything that endangers the Dairy Islands or the Concord, but I will say that I know that all of this can get so complicated, but what's not complicated is that I know that you're good people. And when we get back, you can meet Stilton, who's my new husband.
Can I peel out and try to find
Annabelle?
Annabelle,
Yeah, go for it.
Primsy, you're in charge. So what you say goes. Annabelle's not in charge.
Yeah, you're in charge.
And you could easily fix this situation by just. But you could easily fix the situation by just lending us a sailor and a rescue boat, and then we're out of your hair.
Row. We could even row if you got close enough to the shore.
No, I you see that she immediately gets very uncomfortable. She goes, right, no, I understand. Look, I know that Annabelle's not in charge. I know that. She was next in line, but she gave that up.
You're a strong, powerful woman. Repeat it after me.
I am a strong, powerful woman.
And you don't let anybody else tell you what to do.
I don't let anyone else tell me what to do. Sloshing milk bottle.
Yeah.
Because you're in charge.
I'm in charge. No, and that's what Stilton says too, and he's right about everything.
Does he have, Duchess, does your husband have enemies within his own house? Or
No, not that I'm aware. No, why would you ask that? Do you know anything?
His house made an assassination attempt on King Amathar.
Or at least people disguised as his house.
Well, technically people disguised as me.
Yes, but maybe it was a double disguise.
there was blue cheese on the road. Violent blue cheese.
She looks and says, she says, it's so strange. I mean, Stilton did say that I don't think he has any enemies in his house. I mean, there was the wee problem of him having taken those vows when he was a youth, and then a bunch of other spaces cleared in line, and he became the heir to House Blue, which no one was sort of expecting, a lot of sort of deaths in his family. And there was also the matter of like, we had a letter from the Lady Plumbeline that said that it was likely that King Amathar was going to be named successor, but that she had spoken to her father, the Concordant Emperor, and that it was very possible that if it were not to be him and he were to turn him down, that I would be named the successor, which I was dreading because I didn't want. It's hard enough to run the Dairy Islands. Mm-hmm. But Stilton seemed very excited about the prospect of me becoming the Concordant Empress.
What is your cousin's relationship with Stilton?
She's told me Well, when he first started to court me, she called him a stinking little squib and said that I should have nothing whatsoever to do with him. But I am a strong woman, and I said that he was very sweet and cordial, so I liked him. She didn't like him at first, but I told her that it would make me happy, and so she got behind it, I suppose.
Can I do an insight check into this stuff?
Go for it.
Not very good. 9.
Okay.
8.
I'll do one as well. That one. She's lying.
Yeah, you guys don't read anything on her. She just goes, she says, right, but, Annabelle quieted down when I told her that I had my heart set on him. And now that we're wed and Stilton is now the Lord Consort Cheddar, and will sit by my side in Lacramore, a little bit of an upgrade for Lord Blue. Annabelle will have to get used to taking orders from him, I suppose. So
No. She takes orders from you.
no, of course, me first. Of course, he's the Lord Consort, and only in the event of that will pass to our children when we have them one day, and or in the event if anything were to happen to me, he of course would inherit the throne.
Right. Duchess, just to kind of do the math out loud. We were attacked by some blue soldiers on the road. You have married the Lord Consort, who will become the king if something were to happen to you. Just be careful around.
Hey, Theobald,
Yeah.
not on our wedding day.
Go ahead and give me a charisma check, a little persuasion check. Is that 2? Hey, shout out to the 2 crew.
Oh, why this crossover? Of all the NADPOD crossovers, why rolling a 2? So many things. Watch this. Can I get a redo? My God.
Start from.
She gets up and says, I think tea has rather been ruined. And
These milk people fucking hate me.
you see, she says, right now, my husband is sailing in his flagship, the Dairy Air. And
Is it behind us?
it is. And I think I'm going to go up to the crow's nest and wave a sweet hello to my husband, separated as we are on our wedding day. And you have a good evening. And think about maybe how to be more polite in the future. And I'm a strong woman, and so I'll say this to you. You're a nutter. And she...
Theobald is shocked and horrified. That is the meanest thing she's ever said to anyone.
You see Primsy calls down and says, it looks like the rest of our fleet has sailed off. I'm not sure. You hear. As the House Blue ships begin to close, you see arrows firing from the House Blue ships on to...
I cover Primsy.
On a nat 20, Stilton Curdo runs Primsy coldbottle through the stomach. As he does so, she drops, goes prone, has gone to 0. He raises his sword overhead to finish her with his second attack. He rolled a 4 and a 5, even with advantage for her being prone. He does not finish her off. As he puts the sword through her stomach, you hear him say, Mon chéri, I am happy for this throne you have given me, as he pulls the sword out. You kneel down next to Primsy, begin to try to staunch the milk. As you do, you see that she is, dying there. She looks up at you and goes, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry I did not believe you.
No, you know what? It was your choice to not believe me, and you are a strong woman, and you stand by your choices.
I'm a strong woman. I'm a strong woman.
You are a strong woman.
We're sinking! Where she's going on? I'm a strong woman. I don't need a man.
Yes! 19!
Yes.
Primsy Coldbottle is stabilized. As she coughs up clotted milk and cream as you clear her throat. She is able to breathe again, and you press down on the injury in her stomach to help staunch the bleeding. That is your action. You have saved the life of Primsy Coldbottle. In the flash of
Saved yourself, girl. Strong woman.
I didn't need no.
We started trouble with that finger.
You guys hear some faint footsteps coming up from below decks, and you see Primsy Coldbottle comes up, holding on to her stomach, which has been bandaged. She walks up and says, "Good morning. I would very much like to invite the Royal House of Rocks, Sovereigns of Candia, to a parley in the captain's quarters, if you'd be so kind."
It would be an honor.
Be an honor.
Our bastards invited.
Speaking on behalf of the House of Cheddar, sovereign seat of the Dairy Islands, the Dairy Islands does not recognize the excommunication of King Amathar of the House of Rocks.
Yes. I go to high five her.
What's that?
It's something my brothers would do, but it's the only thing I liked. Put your hand up too.
Aye, you've struck me. Why have you done this? It was wee and gentle, but you've struck me nonetheless.
Well, you do it to me. Isn't it kind of fun?
Right.
I like your bandage.
Right, it kept me from dying.
Oh, that's great.
So, you were very brave in that fight. You didn't need to see in the dark to fight.
I
saw you do a swan. You shot someone 3 times in the head and then did a full swan dive off the side, just into the dark in the ocean.
It's pretty crazy what really thick grief will do to you. I'm kind of drowning in the middle of a big sea of grief and regret, and my obsession with revenge has given me new abilities.
She comes over and takes your hand in both of her hands and holds it and says, "There is a great deal to mourn for, and you're not wrong to feel grief. Let us to the captain quarters and discuss what must be discussed."
The distant cousins join.
Oh yeah, he's in the Christmas card circuit, so I mean the frosting.
High Frosting's Eve.
High Frosting's Eve. He's in the High Frosting's Eve card circus.
Frosting is also a Dairy Islands tradition, right? So
Aye,
it's a
tis.
blending
Yeah.
of dairy and
Tis.
Candia.
It is a tradition there as well. So what we would like is to have you come down. We'll have some tea and we'll serve some more, small sandwiches and stuff. Make it nice.
Lovely.
You guys all go down to the captain's quarters where you speak. Annabelle and Primsy are both there.
Primsy, I just wanted to say, I'm so sorry about Stilton.
Right. Young love is hard, and I didn't expect for my wedding day to end with my new husband boarding my sinking ship and stabbing me through the stomach to inherit my throne that he had only become entitled to less than 12 hours before. But you live and you learn.
You live and you learn.
You honestly are thriving in adversity.
Yeah, that's a lot of closure to get in 4 hours.
I think you might be a war guy.
Right, well, no, I'm a war gal.
Yes, you
That's
are.
right.
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
I am.
too.
That's right. That's great.
War guy.
And Cumulus is just a war guy. Yeah.
She looks and says, "So,
Wow, you really allied that dice.
I guess you
Hey.
what the fuck?"
I've just been waiting. I've been waiting for somebody to throw the dice up so I could say it. Just some light bullying.
Allie hasn't dropped a single die this season.
I know, Allie, you've done a really good job at not messing up.
Sure, maybe I practice at home.
So you see that Primsy looks up and says, the loyalty and bravery of the House of Rocks and of the Candian people cannot be overlooked. And clearly, fidelity to the faith and devotion to the Bulbian Church does not a good man make, or else my departed husband. Oh, I'm a widow.
Widow, bastard, these are all very fun things to become.
Does it count as a widow
Or
if you never...
embrace.
Because it's sort of like an annulment, but more permanent.
Right, well, yeah, that's true. We never consummated. So, I guess I'm just back on the market.
Okay, single and ready to mingle.
Yeah, no baggage at all. That's nice. Right, well, I will say this. It is clear that professed faith to the bulb above does not a good man make. And the rumours of Candia's practice of witchcraft have been proven true. And yet, it has not made them anything less than virtuous, which to the enterprising mind would beg the question, if it is true that a witch can be virtuous, then what does that make the Church's position on witchcraft? A strong question indeed. So, what I would like to ask is, what occurred following the events of the Grand Tournament, and how can we see Candia made whole without the destruction of your lands and mine?
Great question.
We might need another plate of sandwiches to get through this one.
Primsy speaks up and says, how did the Pontifex know if the only people that knew were you and your sisters who all died 20 years ago?
We needed a witness. And Monterey Jack was my best friend at the time.
Monterey. That's why he was gone. That's Morris's letter.
Yeah.
How did they find out that?
Dad, I don't know.
You see that Primsy looks at you and says, the title of Concordant Emperor is not an inherited title, and it cannot be stripped through excommunication. The Pontifex does not have the authority to remove the Concordant Emperor from power.
Well, she has the authority by power, though, because she just did it.
But laws and such.
She had the whole army against us.
Yeah, that broccoli lady
Yes.
sucks.
Yeah,
That
she did
fucking
something.
carrot.
I tried to kill her. I mean, we tried to kill her. We came
Yeah,
close,
we got
too.
close.
Everyone
Yeah, we all got a
easy,
good hit in.
right? So the plan is to kill everyone in the church.
Yes.
You see the two dairy ladies start to kind of draw a little bit back.
I'm gonna slice that carrot's face
We're
off.
gonna slice the carrot's face off.
They
They were
wanted.
trying to get him.
They were
maybe.
trying to get him to
They
be.
might not know that he's dead yet.
Oh, that is what we forgot to tell you.
That other
Primsy, you were
Disguise
supposed
self,
to be
Kurdo. We go back.
Hee hee hee, ho ho ho.
There's already a boat with other sailors.
You're
on it.
right.
Yeah.
Dang.
Primsy looks at you and says, right, I knew the word that I knew that the Emperor was likely to choose Amathar as his successor, but I did, and I told that to Stilton, and I do not know what Stilton was up to, but I do know that he was ambitious, and that his vows he had taken in youth were in his way because it meant he could not marry, and that was a priority for him. But I thought, I don't know, sometimes it felt like he wanted to marry for love, and other times it felt like he wanted to be able to sit on the throne side by side. And I did not fault him for it before I knew what type of man he truly was. Right. Well, I do not know what roles Stilton played in all of these plots or schemes, but I do know this, that we will stand by our Candian allies. We owe you our lives, and though we are perhaps the smallest, or not as small as Candia maybe, but the second smallest and much less magical, we will stand by Candia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I kneel.
Yeah.
She performs a deep curtsy and says, "Rise, Your Majesty." Annabelle and the Duchess Coldbottle bid you all a fond farewell as they sail back to Lacrimore, your allies in the wars to come. You, the Duchess Primsy Coldbottle comes to you and says, "Your Majesty, Queen Saccharina, it is a pleasure and an honor to swear to you as the new Queen of Candia. As the Duchess of the Dairy Islands, can I just say that it is a delight to see something of a cousin on the throne of Candia," and winks at you.
Thank you. I mean, honestly, your support means the world. And right back at you. Curtsy to the Duchess.
Oh, that's very kind. I appreciate it. Well, the matter will need to be sorted, and there is a great deal to discuss. The laws of the Concord are clear, and there must be some recompense for what has happened. We will.
Yes, I do expect that the Concord will see the injustices that were committed against Candia rectified.
Primsy also goes over to you, Liam, at the thing, and she says, "Well, Count Frieseberg, the Master Liam Wilhelmina."
Hello, Duchess. Hi.
You look rather charming in your new armor.
Thank you. My dad got it for me, actually, for my birthday. It's my birthday.
That's lovely. Well, it's lovely to see you again, and thank you again for your brave heroics on the battle
thanks.
ships.
Yeah.
Do you still have my favour from the tourney?
Yeah, totally. What?
Oh, nothing. Just, it's good to see you.
Yeah. Good to see you too.
Annabelle and Sir Morris were mentioning that seeing as my previous husband was shot to the bottom of the sea by a magic dagger, that I, and as a widow, that my prospects were less than ideal. And, probably I would settle for a political marriage with, someone from another country who might, probably not a prince or anything, but maybe like a, earl, or maybe like a count.
Oh, that's so crazy because I am a count.
Really?
Yeah, I do think that ultimately we will have such a huge misunderstanding in what we want out of the relationship. And I will strive to maybe one day meet someone whose needs meet my own. And
what sort of needs are you talking about?
It's honestly more like a lack of needs, but it would. I am thinking about taking a political marriage. I just feel like most people are like, I'm so in love, I'm going to go bone that person. And for me, it's like, I'm so in love, I'm gonna hug that person really tight and then move on with my day.
I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, that's really cool, yeah. I just,
listen, I was very sweet on Stilton and I like to kiss, but I know I'm soon to be 17 and all of that should wait until I'm a woman grown. But to be honest, I've been mortified since I've been here. Everyone keeps talking about getting slammed down big style.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's for those people. It's that's what they want to do. It's just not me. It's absolutely
my head is a milk bottle, and if I were to be slammed down in any sort of meaningful
die.
way, I could die.
Yeah.
So I'm not about that life.
Me neither. Me neither.
Would you like to hold hands and go on a walk?
I would love to. I would freaking love to.
She holds your hand and goes on a walk with you.
Me in a milk bottle.
Joran nods. And you see that Primsy speaks up and says, I think it's high time that I write to Lord Cruller and say that I, on behalf of the Dairy Islands, would like to recognize House Cruller as the rightful rulers of Candia.
So that he's not expecting any sort of sea.
Or so that he is. Or so that he
kind to Dairy Island ships and all that.
Good.
So that he is expecting 3 Dairy Island ships bearing the Duchess to Castle Candy.
We got a shark amongst us. Yes, I love
You're
it.
being awful sweet, Your Majesty. She nods and curtsies. Yeah, she's a fucking baller.
I put my hand on the book. Gustavo Uvano named me as Emperor of the Concord.
Primsy in the rubble says, the Dairy Islands recognises this claim on the Book of St. Citrina as being true, and heretofore missives will be sent to whoever's in charge of these countries now that we've killed all the people that run them. Your Imperial Majesty, it is an honor to know you and the Empress Caramelinda and the Imperial Princess Ruby of the House of Rocks. And to Her Majesty the Queen of Candia, I say, what a charming finish to this rather strife-filled tale. You look as, in fact, the bizarre political machinations of this land have seen you with the ability to prove that, in fact, there may be more than just one crown of candy.